So before we begin, I've got rid of all the ads off of my upcoming videos, new videos, whatever, preempting YouTube's change of their policy. So that means that we're getting rid of the adverts, which is awesome, so it's easier to watch. And instead, I've become an Amazon affiliate. So in the links in the description, there's links down there. And if you want to support the channel, you can check the links out, obviously. And yeah, if you buy something from Amazon, I get a small commission. So that's cool. It will help fund the channel and hopefully make it awesome and better and epic and bigger. That is the plan for this year. So it came just the right time. So on with the video. Today we are doing jam wine. Oh yes. Now I haven't done a jam wine on video since I pretty much started the channel. So it's basically like a reboot, I suppose, or another version. I've got a better jam. I want apricot jam because I want an apricot wine, and I've got 2 jars, so it is a lower alcohol percentage. So why would I want to use jam? I've got asked this question. Well, it's already a pre-self-contained package. You can add sugar to it, but you don't need to. I mean, they're all pretty easy. The only thing that we've got to do is get rid of the preservatives and break down the pectin, because there's extra pectin added in there. You don't have to do this step for the pectin, but I like it, so that's what I'm going to do. So I have got myself PECTOLASE. Funny enough, it was from Amazon, so that's pretty handy. And I've also got myself some yeast nutrient, because, you know, better fermentation. And I'll be using a cider yeast for this, because I like the cider yeast, so that's what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to get set up and we're going to get started. Check that, we're already here. So I've got myself my pan, my heating implement. It's a bigger pan than I need, but my other one I haven't washed because I'm lazy. I also have boiled water, which is just going to make the boiling process quicker. At the minute, it doesn't really matter. We're going to end up with a gallon batch, so you don't really have to measure this. It's just enough so we can actually simmer the jam without burning all the sugars. So it is pretty straightforward. Open up the jam and take a spoon. At the minute, we don't need to sterilize anything, because the act of boiling is going to sterilize. So I'm just going to keep adding in my lovely blobs of jam. Apricot-y. So you can also mix and match and make apricot ciders using this same method. It's pretty universal. And really cheap and easy. I mean, who doesn't like cheap and easy? So there's one, I'll rinse it out with a bit of water in a minute. And second one. And you've got a tasty spoon to... I love apricot jam. Anyway, enough with my love of apricot jam. So at the minute we're going to be boiling it, 1, to break it down, and 2, it also drives off all the preservatives that are in your jam. So if you make jam at home, obviously you're not going to be using the preservatives. So you can use homemade jam, which is really handy. If you've got extra left over. There we go. Just going to add in my water. Like so. And yeah, I'm going to let this come up to a boil. I'm going to grab an actual stirring spoon, since this is a bigger pan. And I'm going to let the jam dissolve. And rinse out these. Using a bit of warm water, not boiling water, because you don't want the glass to smash. So yeah. I'm going to let this simmer for about 15 minutes. You can leave it to go longer, but 15 minutes is a good time once it comes up to a sort of boil. Funny that. And yeah, we'll be back when that happens. Put down the e-cig. So, it's been 20 minutes and it is now finished completely. I mean, I said it was 15, but I was doing stuff, so I kind of just left it. And it is done. The preservatives are gone. The jam has broken down into liquid form, so it's just sugar, apricots, and water. Lovely. So this wine is going to be sweet because apricots is a nice delicate flavour. Normally you would add more things to it, like grape juice or grapes or sultanas or raisins, to give it more body. But we're just going for a light, fruity wine. This is because I've also got some bottles of apricot wine that I did in a previous video, which I'm going to be doing a tasting to. So I wanted to see basically the difference between making it from jam and making it from actual fresh apricots. I thought it would be an interesting video, just to put your mind at ease, I suppose, to see if there's a difference. So it is done, and I'm going to be cooling this down in a water bath, which should take about 10-15 minutes tops, mainly because I'll be adding it to a glass demijohn, which I have sterilising, which has been sterilising since the start of the video, along with the hydrometer, which is again being sterilised, and the airlock, which is being sterilised. So I'm going to put this in the water bath to cool it down, and I'll see you in about 10 minutes. So for those people that haven't seen how I sterilise stuff, I just thought I'd quickly show you, because I've said it, but it was off camera, so now it's all in camera. I've got my demijohn, which is lovely and glass-like, got my hydrometer, and I've got my airlock, all being sterilised in a water and bleach solution. Now I'm using thin bleach, as you can see, everyday value thin bleach. It's the cheapest of the cheap, so you know they're not going to add anything in apart from bleach and water, because that's basically what bleach is. Thick bleach doesn't work. You can also use homebrewing sterilising stuff, which I'll put a link in the description below so you can see it if you want to get it, but it's expensive compared to this, which is like 30p for litres, and it sterilises just as well. You just have to rinse it. That's really it. So yeah, this is my setup. So here we are. I have rinsed everything so it doesn't smell of bleach. Bleach free, so it is perfectly sterile. It was at the time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start adding our liquid to it, which is in the form of our sugar solution. So I've got myself a litre of cold, ice cold water, I suppose, because the tap was running and it is winter, and in it goes. Now if you've cooled down your solution to the same temperature, it doesn't matter which way it goes in. This is more for other people's security. If your solution is a bit warmer, mine cooled down really quick, it is safe to touch, funny enough, so it's pretty cool. And now I can take my lovely spoon, remove it, and take my water solution and add it into the jug. Check that. It's got a nice colour to it. And it still smells of apricots. So in this goes. There you go. And the little chunks of apricot. So I'm going to add more water in until we get up to about there, and that will give us enough headroom just so that if they, so basically we don't have another roof explosion everywhere issue. Leaving a bit more extra headroom does help that, or using a bucket, that would be really helpful. Some people say a blow-off tube, you can, but nah, you don't need to. So I'm going to just top this up until I get to about there. So as you can see, I have topped it up to about where I said I would, and yeah, it's got a nice colour to it. As you can see, the bottom is darker than the top. That's partially to do with there's some bits at the bottom, and also this needs mixing up. So to save a bit of time and extra handling, I'm already going to add the yeast nutrient to it, which I only need 1 teaspoon, which funny enough I have. Finger funnel, since my hands are sterile because I was using them with the bleach solution. And I'm also going to add my PECTOLASE now. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of PECTOLASE. Now PECTOLASE, if you don't know, is an enzyme that breaks down pectin. And in theory, well, in actuality, because it's an enzyme, it is never actually destroyed, so you don't have to add 2 in. It's just I know that there is a lot of pectin that is already in the apricots, and also in the sugar that is in the jam, because it's pectin jam, helps it set. So now what I'm going to do is put my hand over the top and shake it up. Now that will aerate it and mix everything around, which is pretty cool. And then we can check it with a hydrometer. So make sure it's nice and in place. Quick and easy, and you didn't need any special kit for it. I have seen people that use air stones. This did the same thing in a fraction of the time. Just saying, save you a lot of money in the long run. So I'm going to use my hydrometer. Let's see what the potential alcohol is. 135. Yeah, just over 135 grams. So I can use that to go 135. Says here it has a potential alcohol of 8%. Probably won't ferment to dryness, so, but still, this is how you read a hydrometer, so it's 8%, and for those not in the know, that is approximately 1.050. Lovely, lovely. So it is, you know, relatively, it'll probably turn out about 7%, but 8% will put down. And I'm going to take my cider yeast, because I love it so. Love my cider yeast. It's a very, very handy yeast. And I'm just going to pour in a little sprinkle, because I already know that this is sterile, and I have the experience to know that I don't need that much yeast. If you're new to homebrewing, add a bit more in. One of these packets will make 5 gallons if you do it by the instructions. The more yeast you add in technically, the quicker it will populate and the less likely you are to get infections. So just putting that out there for the new subscribers. And I have my airlock, which is already being filled halfway. And then just wedge this mother in the top. Like so. And basically we just put this to one side now, and it will slowly ferment away within the next 24 hours, and this should be done to completion in about 1 month. Now that is the time it takes for it to populate, the yeast to populate and divide and do its thing, make the alcohol, because it will turn cloudy, and then that will also drop the yeast out of suspension once it's finished. And then we get to back sweeten it and compare it to the other apricot wine that I did. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I didn't have a lot of time today, so jam wine seemed like a good call. Obviously leave your comments in the section below. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to rate, comment, like, subscribe, and share. The more people that we get the word out, the better. So I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Cheers.